don't forget to like and subscribe. It truly helps me share more stories like this one with you. Today's story will take you deep into the heart of desperation, temptation, and the kind of choices that can alter a person's life forever. I remember the moment I realized I had run out of options. 3 months behind on rent, my savings gone, and no one left to turn to. That's when he made me an offer. An offer I should have refused, but didn't. But before we dive into the story, please take a second to like and subscribe. It only takes a moment, but it means more to this channel than you can imagine. Thank you for your support. Now let's begin. The night was cold, and the weight of my apartment pressed down on me like never before. Bills lay scattered across the table, unopened, because I already knew what they said. Past due, final notice, immediate payment required. I'd been fighting to keep everything together. Extra shifts, side jobs, selling anything I could. But it was never enough. Every time I thought I'd found a small way out, another wall closed in around me. Then came a knock. I froze. Something about that sound felt heavier than usual. Reluctantly, I got up and opened the door. It was Mr. Harris, my landlord. His eyes scanned me slowly, not cruel but sharp, calculating. "Julia," he said quietly, "you're 3 months behind on rent." I pulled my sweater tighter around me. "I know, Mr. Harris. I just need a little more time." He stepped inside without waiting for an invitation. The air in the room grew dense as the door clicked shut behind him. "Time," he said softly, his voice carrying an edge I couldn't quite read. "Time doesn't pay the bills," he said flatly. His tone was sharp, but what came next made me uneasy. "It's a shame," he murmured, his voice softening. "A woman like you, struggling like this." My heart sank. I had already tried everything. Borrowing money, skipping meals, even pawning the last piece of jewelry my mother had left me. Nothing was ever enough. "Please," I whispered, my voice trembling. "Just a little longer." He studied me for a long, quiet moment before leaning slightly closer. Then he said something that made my stomach twist. "Or maybe," he began, "there's another way." I blinked, confused. "What do you mean?" His smile was small, too calm, too knowing. "You're smart, Julia. You know exactly what I mean. I can make your problems disappear. Just between us." The room suddenly felt smaller, like the walls were closing in. My pulse raced. I wanted to scream, to tell him to get out. But at the same time, my mind flashed to the eviction notice, the empty fridge, the nights I'd gone to bed hungry. I had nowhere else to go. The silence between us grew heavy, suffocating. The only sounds were the hum of the old refrigerator and the steady drip of the faucet I couldn't afford to fix. Everything around me seemed to whisper the same truth. I was trapped. I swallowed hard, my throat dry. "Mr. Harris," I started, but my voice cracked before I could finish. He tilted his head, studying me with unsettling calm. There was no anger in his eyes, no cruelty, but somehow that made it worse. He didn't need to raise his voice. He didn't need to repeat the offer. It was already clear. "Options," he said gently, almost kindly, as if he were offering me a favor instead of something else entirely. "But I can help you. I can keep you safe here. I can take care of the rent. All you have to do is agree." The word agree echoed in my mind, hollow and sharp. Agree to what? I didn't need him to explain. The meaning hung thick in the air, unspoken yet painfully clear. I turned away, pacing toward the window. Outside, rain streaked down the glass in thin, trembling lines. The city lights blurred into a wash of color, a watercolor of loneliness. I thought about calling my sister, maybe begging a friend, maybe even sleeping in my car. But deep down, I already knew the truth. I'd asked for help too many times. Everyone in my life had grown tired of saving me. Behind me, Mr. Harris's voice remained calm, almost patient. "I'm not forcing you, Julia. This is your choice. But choices define us, and this one could change everything." His words dug deep. I thought about the path that had led me here. It wasn't supposed to be like this. By now, I was supposed to have my life together. A stable job, a small apartment I could actually afford, maybe even someone to come home to. Instead, it had been one closed door after another. I had lost my job months earlier when the company downsized. I told myself it was temporary, that I'd find something better. I worked wherever I could, answering phones, stocking shelves, waitressing until sunrise, but every paycheck disappeared faster than it came. Then came my mother's surgery and the medical bills that followed. Insurance covered some, but never enough. I drained my savings, sold my car. Every dollar I had went into keeping my mother alive. And when she was finally gone, all that remained was grief. and a mountain of debt. Now, 3 months of unpaid rent stood between me and the streets. I closed my eyes and pressed my forehead against the cold window. My heartbeat thudded in my ears. Fast, uneven, desperate. Survival. That's all it was now. A trade, a compromise. But wasn't survival worth it? When I turned back, Mr. Harris was still there, calm as ever, waiting for my answer. He didn't raise his voice or threaten me, but his silence carried its own weight. It filled the room, thick and suffocating. He took a small step closer, his tone soft but firmer than before. "Yes, you can," he said quietly, "because deep down, you already know you don't have a choice." Something inside me cracked. Or maybe it finally gave way. I couldn't tell anymore. My body felt numb, my thoughts hazy. And then, before I could think, I nodded, just once. But it was enough. Mr. Harris smiled faintly. Not triumphant, not cruel, just certain, as though everything had unfolded exactly as he'd expected. "Good," he said simply. "Then leave the rest to me." He turned and walked toward the door, pausing with his hand on the knob. "Rest tonight, Julia. Tomorrow things will start changing for you." And then he was gone. I sank into the old armchair, my hands trembling, my stomach twisted into knots. I should have felt relief. The rent problem was gone, at least for now. But instead, I felt something else. Something heavier than debt pressing down on me.